fight, but you can see how well both sides are playing and responding.
Yeah, absolutely. The game number 1 was a treat in itself. And there were so many fights like that. Small nuances, very, very crisp timings, or lack of a 1 second window, as you're mentioning here. So going into game number 2, I'm only happy about everything.
Yeah. The mind-boggling thing here is that basically Dignitas had a 70% upper dog situation there in that game.
Yeah,
they burned the Immortal to 10%. Oh, look at that crowd. Such an amazing game. But they burn the Immortal and they stay there, and Fnatic just runs away with it. You never see that. The Immortal drops to 10%. Maybe the defense is slightly successful, but you never see that people just end the game. Full HP keep wall, level 17. And that's just the level that these two teams are playing at.
And we've seen, Grubby was mentioning actually when we were watching the game, we've seen the rise of Judgment become a real thing. And it's allowing teams like Fnatic in this situation to put an end to games, to be that aggressive. If you're going Sanctification, sure, you're just defending, hoping you're going to last out. But they are taking no mercy with choices and comps like this. Fair to say?
Absolutely. No mercy from either of these teams, and I expect the exact same on this next map. It is going to be Braxis. If I remember correctly, during the HGC, where these two teams played against each other, there was a creative draft, which is one of the games where we saw Wobby just go absolutely off on Zeratul, just completely outplaying the map.
I was commentating that one. I remember it very, very well. All Kyle cause aside. Let's get into it. Game number 2 here. Team Dignitas goes up against Fnatic. Best of 5. Upper bracket final, mid-season brawl.
All right, and right into the draft we go here with the first ban, Genji for Team Dignitas. Now this is slightly unusual because on this map, the norm is for the second the second pick team to ban the Genji. So if they don't, you can first pick it. So this kind of tells me that Dignitas, they already have something else planned for their first pick. See the Dahaka also being banned.
Both teams just banning out stuff that was in the last game that was a big problem. Now we're seeing Dignitas beginning with the Grey main. So they already are setting up with one of the more versatile assassins currently in the pool, but also someone with incredible blow-up potential if they want to go for something similar to last time.
It also happens to be a nuanced pick for Dignitas in particular because they have multiple Grey main players.
Yeah.
So that also means that it's more difficult to gauge the follow-up picks and roles per player.
True.
That's definitely something that plays at this level.
So is Anubrak Malf a potential here? We've seen them go towards Malf in the previous game, trying to perhaps limit where Bakery can be in position.
It definitely is a potential, but one important thing to note is Braxis is not like other maps. There are picks on Braxis that are more high priority than the meta normal picks. So that's why the Grey main first pick for Dignitas is actually very unusual to me. Now on any other map you see a Grey main first pick, that's not that uncommon. It's a power pick in the meta, but on Braxis you usually don't see Grey main at all. So interesting first pick there.
Instant, not a single second. Sylvanas coming in again for Dignitas. She has really good wave clear against the Zerg due to her Shadow Dagger actually spreading to all the Zerg, but she's also one of those win harder heroes. If you do get the bigger Zerg wave and push with it, you can destroy.
And that's definitely a momentum hero here, that Black Arrow trade. She's also great defensively against the Zerg wave. She's not just a pusher, but here's the thing. She comes out in second rotation here. I must admit, Dignitas used Sylvana several times earlier in the group stage of mid-season Brawl, and I thought 100% they were just basically going easy on easy teams. With all due respect, I thought it was a fake pick.
So Dignitas definitely has a plan here with how fast they're picking these picks. We saw Fnatic, when they were going for the world record timer, they actually picked Grey main and Sylvanas both games, and that's for a reason. These are two of the best pushing heroes in the game. Grey main in Worgen form, one of the best at pushing buildings, fastest. Sylvanas, stops the buildings, and they're banning Ragnaros. They're cheesy.
This draft looks so like the draft that Fnatic went for when they were trying to break the record. They're removing stuff that slows them down.
To put words in your mouth, what you're saying here is that Dignitas is trying to break Fnatic's HGC world record against Fnatic.
The fact is, Fnatic took the record off of Dignitas. The Dignitas got in the group stage, so they're taking it back and forth off each other. This isn't the place to just purely all in and attempt that, but it can work. This strategy of just killing the structures quick enough.
Yeah, Fnatic has to realize what's going on right now. Their next 2 picks is going to be really important. This puts them on the spot. You have 60 seconds to pick 2 heroes that you think will most likely counter the push strat coming out of Dignitas here. So we'll have to see what they come up with. This is really interesting.
Yeah.
I did not expect
So
this.
Fan Ever the Gentleman, do you think that Dignitas can win in less than 5 minutes 52 seconds?
Against a team like Fnatic, I don't know. It's tough competition there.
To be clear, current HGC record is 6 minutes and 1 second.
Oh, right,
Overall
right.
record is 5 minutes and 52 seconds. So, Stitches again, so they can get picks, they can push after they get the picks. This is looking scary by Team Dignitas. Fnatic, if they want to slow them down, what was the thing that slowed Fnatic down in when they did it? I think it was Diva, the most
throwing on the
effective
core.
one. Other than that,
There was Cassia, right, as well.
It was
difficult for
Cassia,
it to
yeah.
kill her. I'm wondering if the Arthas on the other side does go Syndragosa and just tries to, like,
just
actually
counter push with Syndragosa.
eventually, like, when it gets to this crazy situation. But anyway, what do you think rounds this out for Dignitas?
This last pick is going to determine how cheesy their composition is.
Yeah.
If it's a regular top laner, then it's actually not that cheesy. They're just going to format, maybe rotate around with the Sylph Grey main and push structures, look for picks. If it's something, okay, so it's not that cheesy.
It's a regular
yeah.
top laner, yeah.
It's a standard comp with the ability to snowball and get picks. It is a reasonable comp for Dignitas. The problem is Sylvanas doesn't add in as much team fight damage as they would prefer normally, so they are very much relying on this pick strategy as opposed to winning team fights.
There's nowhere near the blow-up and lockdown potential that they had with Stitches in prior games or prior compositions that they've used against Fnatic.
Exactly. You get a hook, you get an entangle, and that's pretty much it. Good luck, deal your damage.
Till level 10. Wailing
Greymane
Arrow.
and Sylvanas. Yeah, you get the Wailing Arrow. It's not as quick to proc it. It would be a big leap of faith, which they've shown they have, but still. A lot less Stitches pick-off potential. But Fnatic's 5th pick is being thought about quite long. All the info's on the table.
So they do need one more damage dealer. I believe it will be Arthas on the top side, matching the Leoric. The Falstad can rotate. And
Jaina.
We haven't seen her in a very long time.
It's our first Jaina of this tournament, right?
It
I
is.
do believe so, yeah. So we're down to something like 12 heroes not used in this tournament yet, out of a hero pool of about 67. Very impressive repertoire. Jaina.
So I actually want to kind of go off the slight Jaina tangent, which is oftentimes on this map, a usual mage pick would have been Gul'dan. Why the Jaina over Gul'dan?
Chromie, Gul'dan. Chromie keeps poking. It's hard to dodge because there's so little space. Gul'dan clears the Zerg wave really well. Jaina doesn't do badly, though, with the Zerg wave. But I'm not sure. Maybe Ring of Frost follow-up on Cocoon?
Maybe.
Could be quite strong.
Something coming out here. All right, I want your predictions, guys, when we get into game number 2.
Ring of Frost on Cocoon, Ring of Frost on Arthas roots could be really effective. But I'm going with Fnatic because I'm really upset. I'm not upset, I'm really concerned about Dignitas' team fight potential, and Fnatic will force them into team fights at least once.
Okay.
I'm with Fnatic as well. I believe there's not enough follow-up to Stitch's hook. It's a cool comp, but I don't think they can win in this fashion against Fnatic.
Yeah, I mean, I've studied a lot of Fnatic's drafting on Braxis, especially during the past, and I think they have exactly what they like to run. Even the Jaina, they've run it many times on Braxis in the past, so I have to go with the Fnatic. They have a lot of execution ahead of them, but they have what they want.
All right, let's see what chat thinks as well as the hashtags keep rolling in chat, and it seems like Fnatic now eking out a bit more of an advantage over there at home. The Swedish crowd certainly likes it. We're about to get into game number 2. Let's hope it's a belter like game number 1 here for the upper bracket final between Team Dignitas and Team Fnatic.
It's only game number 2 of this best of 5, and already the pocket picks are coming out with Sylvanas and Jaina.
Jaina, I'm excited to see more of her in this tournament. It's going to be great to watch her control those waves and make sure that Sylvanas isn't very effective in her pushes. So here we go, straight into it. Dignitas here on the left, in the blue. Multiple members heading to the top here. Snitch playing Greymane, Bakery on Malfurion, Mayne on Sylvanas, JPL on Stitches, and Xayah playing the Leoric. It is going to be Team Dignitas.
And their opponents in the red, up 1 game in this best of 5. Breeze on a new Barak, Smexy playing Uther, Quacknix playing Falstad, Webby on Arthas, and Schwimpy playing that Jaina. They are Fnatic.
The obvious crowd favorites here.
Of course.
Being the home favorites here in their hometown, playing lights out so far. Can they continue to do so in the series? They catch Team Dignitas as they rotate towards the top and work towards that turret. We're going to have a fight right away as Manning goes in, but JPL's low, and it's a kill.
Perfect execution with the Webby slows and Breeze to catch that JPL Stitches, getting the first blood of the game.
And that hurts a lot too. When you have a Sylvanas composition, you're hoping to get that early game pressure. Now, luckily with it being Brax's holdout, if you can control the beacons, get a big Zerg wave going, you could still get effective use out of Sylvanas. But typically, you want to be able to break down a turret, put pressure on your opponent, and Fnatic, with that catch, can take a big breath there as they have a huge sigh of relief.
Snitch and Jaina are hanging around too, and I love that Fnatic are understanding that Jaina is an early game hero that has excellent damage and crowd control options with her slows in the early game. So they're hoping to make the most of that with having not only that, but Arthas and a lot of crowd control with Uther and Nubarak. But Team Dignitas not going to fall for it a second time, starting to work in that damage on structures with Sylvanas.
And another benefit of having the Jaina here, she can clear out these waves. You can drop a Blizzard there. We're going to have an engage on Snitch here. Snitch taking damage. He's getting low. Can he get out? Bakery's working hard, but Wubby's on him. And that's going to be another kill as Fnatic goes up 2-0.
Wubby says, no one escapes me on Arthas. Getting a second kill. Fnatic feeling great at the beginning of game number 2.
Falstad with the rotation to help out as well. And yes, Jaina doing well here, picking up Lingering Chill at level 1. Great again. You want to clear out the wave, but if you can also hit that Frost on top of any opposing member, particularly the Sylvanas or the Greymane, Arthas can get there quicker, but you also force them to peel back because they don't want to get caught, which stops Sylvanas from being effective.
Yeah, and it ensures that the slow lasts longer and gives more time for someone like Wubby to get into position with his slows then too, so that Stitches has to be fearful now of his positioning, because even if it looks like he's in a fine place, if one of them gets the hit, whether it's Howling Blast or even just Jaina abilities, it can be hard for him to move back in time.
Oh, Dignitas is just getting caught left and right here. Zelia takes some pressure here on the side. He will be able to rotate to the bottom, but he is aching there. Falstad can go in for an engage, especially if he misses out on his Drain Hope, while Wubby stay in the top lane, clearing out that wave. They did lose out on some turrets. 4-4 for our teams, and we're going to have a scuffle over the beacon in the top, while Falstad's controlling bottom. JPL being focused. Blizzard connecting, and that's another one. 4-0.
That is the exact situation I was talking about. You had insult to injury. Arthas and Jaina is already terrifying, but then you put a Nubarak with that, you're just not going to get away if you get caught.
Oh, if you're a fan of Dignitas, you got to be worried right now, especially with Breeze coming in, looking for Zelia. Zelia's going to go ahead and Wraithwalk forward, but Quagnix outplaying him. Will barrel roll to the side here. They bring out the auto attacks, and they grab both beacons. They have a total of 52% being available. The top just now being grabbed by Dignitas, but 52% right now? Solid for Fnatic.
But we have to remember that Fnatic has to do this up against the Sylvanas on Brax's holdout. It is a 2-lane battleground, and Sylvanas is so scary to be against if you win an objective handily. So even just that halfway point gives enough of a Zerg rush that Fnatic can take a breath for a second, knowing that there isn't going to be, even if there was a big Zerg rush for Dignitas, Fnatic still have something here.
Totally. Dignitas on their side, they still have the tool here of Stitches. Bringing out the hooks could be effective for them if they're able to isolate a target and get a kill. But right now, it's not looking like that will be an opportunity presented as Fnatic is playing so well. Breeze in particular, this entire game has been sitting like this the entire time when he sees JPL, watching out for those hooks, has the charge to run away if he needs to, has Uther to back him up. Breeze continues to be one of the best tanks here in Europe.
Fnatic is putting Falstad wherever Leoric is so that they can do this. Once again, capturing JPL with all of their crowd control abilities. Fnatic get their 5th kill of the game.
They get another kill. They grab the beacon on the bottom. Leoric will go ahead and grab top. Dignitas is holding for now, and experience are staying with them, but in terms of momentum, Fnatic is just so far ahead. They seem to be controlling much better, and that's kind of one of the fears you have to deal with when you're playing against that global power of a Falstad.
Falstad here, again, Wubby come up to get both of the beacons. So now the beacon phase for Fnatic resumes on its progress to 100%. Mene taken out.
Snitch goes in on the right side here, applying some damage to Smexy. Has to be careful. The bottom beacon being grabbed, and Fnatic will get the first Zerg wave of the game. Will be pushing in that top side. At the same time, Zelia taking damage as Wubby have Howling Blast. He does. He connects it. Zelia will be saved by his teammate JPL, but they have to worry about the big Zerg push. Look at it here in the top lane. It will be pushing in as strong as possible, while at the same time, Zelia gets caught here on the left.
Nobody expected Fnatic to be there. That seemed like it should have been a fine place to disengage and run away. but no, Fnatic have once again gotten another kill, 7-0 so far with the Zerg.
Wonderful play there by Fnatic. First off, Quacknix being in the top, only saw JPL floating around the entire area. He's like, hey, there's only one guy here. Check the rotation. The rotation was checked there by Fnatic, and they got the pickup because of that call out. Great communication here by Fnatic as they push in that top, grab the experience, but also push in this bottom, grabbing the turrets. Look at it, 8.5 here to 7.
Yeah, a lot of people know about the power of Sylvanas to be able to push with an objective, but here, because of her Shadow Dagger and the way it spreads, she's also a very effective clearer of the Zerg Rush. And with only Quacknix here in the top, the teams have decided just to trade out on structures. And with Fnatic having a lead in experience, it makes sense that as it's going to take way too long to rotate back up, they might as well just try to take down a fort of their own and maintain that experience lead.
Yeah, it's really a double-edged sword here for Dignitas. First off, getting that fort is good for them because it gives them experience. They want to come back, and when you're behind, any experience is super important and needed. But Fnatic is moving towards 10. They got the fort in the bottom left. They open up the battleground, which makes Falstad more effective. He can push in that bottom area, start moving towards keep walls. Things are looking good for Fnatic, but Dignitas is doing their best to stay in the game. It really, for me, all comes down to level 10 and how they're going to team fight.
Yeah, the main thing for Dignitas is they're not too far behind. Yes, Fnatic are closing in on heroic abilities, but if Dignitas have Stitches, so they always have a possibility to get comeback experience off of a pick.
That they do. Uther, by the way, still has not picked his level 7 talent here for Fnatic, seeing what he might be moving into. Wubby on the bottom left side will be hooked in. He's going to be sitting on top of Zelia, though, slowing him down, while Breeze on the top left is in a spot where he can come in for the rotation.
I think he's probably waiting on Sylvanas heroic. If it's mind control, they feel like they have to take Clintz, just get away. But then otherwise, Guardian of Ancient Kings is really good. Actually, no, he's not even going to wait until the heroic ability there goes ahead and picks up Guardian of Ancient Kings. Fnatic going for the throat with their heroic abilities.
Cocoon into Ring of Frost, and one target is worth it, especially when you have the heroics. JPL getting isolated, being body blocked, Wubby sitting on him, and that's going to be another kill. Fnatic with a 2-0 kill overall, and now the beacon's activating in 9 seconds. Fnatic primed here to move in for a boss call. In fact, they do. They head over, they grab the boss. They can start pushing in lanes, they can have mercenaries going, and they can start working on the beacons.
And they hadn't used Mighty Gust, so even if somehow Dignitas had decided to try to fight for this boss, they would have still had Mighty Gust to push Dignitas off the point. But Dignitas are just taking a breather for a second. They lost the last team fight because they were out on the battlefield once Fnatic hit level 10. Now they need to get their own heroic abilities, and then they can fight over this next beacon phase.
All right, boss will be pushing in. Beacons have been grabbed. Top lane's being cleared out. Fnatic setting themselves up for a team fight, and it's going to be in that top left here as Dignitas is moving towards the area of the boss. It looks like they may just have to forfeit this entire Zerg wave, as Fnatic is just such a great spot, and Dignitas is yet to even hit 10. They're just now about to do so.
Yeah, I forgot the power of a 2-lane battleground on there and how hard it can be when you're down that far to try to soak lanes. They clear out the boss, but they do forfeit the beacons. 100% Zerg Rush for Fnatic and heroic abilities online for Dignitas.
And this is the beauty of them trading out forts earlier on that top bottom left and that top right, where Dignitas would have got an advantage if they got the beacons, but because they didn't get the beacons, Fnatic now has the advantage on the bottom left because they took out the fort and start moving in for a keep. They bring all 5 members down. Wubby is set up for the flank in case there was to be an opposing member sitting in that bush. He can also come in at any point for the Howling Blast. Fnatic is just primed here to break down at least this keep wall.
Now there's no Sindragosa for Wubby, taking the safer choice of Army of the Dead, but it will allow him to sustain in fights for a long time. Meanwhile, Librarian combo is available. Hook hits, Quacknix in trouble, Divine Shield used.
Divine Shield used, Falstad will be able to get out here. The Zerg wave continues to move forward, but Dignitas pulls out that composition relatively well here, and they're going to be able to defend the Guardians. They still have their keep. There is hope for Dignitas. JPL's looking for another hook. Quacknix is being on the side here, almost getting caught, but the last second will react.
Like, oh, maybe this isn't a good place for me to back. I need to get back further.
Well, he gets away, luckily for here, but Dignitas takes the opportunity to get more aggressive. They're pushing in on the right side. They know that they're in a spot where they have to make plays. This is kind of one of the burdens of running a Sylvanas composition. They run in, Hook comes out, gonna be on top of the root here. Anubrak taking damage, but it's not enough. Breeze will live, and here comes Wubby.
Wubby with the deep flank, follow-up, Ring of Frost 2, and no more is Malfurion. He is eliminated with all of the damage. Just cannot withstand until he gets his ice block. Falls out taken out, but a 1 for 3 in favor of Fnatic.
Even without the Ring of Frost connecting fully, Fnatic is in a spot where they get the 1v3. You're correct, and Breeze is pushing in on the left side here. Will Fnatic intend to go for more aggressive plays? The answer seems to be no right now. Is they're going to go in and clear out Zelia here on the bottom right. He buys some time, but now Fnatic can move in for mercenary camps. Grab the Hellbats on the left side, grab the Hellbats on the top right, push in for this fort, open up the battlefield. The possibilities seem to be endless.
Yeah, the way that Greymane and Sylvanas and even Stitches with Slam build can clear out the Zerg Rush means that Fnatic can't really rely on a great Zerg Rush to be able to take a structure without getting some kills. We saw that at the bottom. They had a great push, 100% to 0, and they barely did anything to the keep. So they have to use the time that they have when they do take out members of Team Dignitas to force a push and try to take down structures that way.
Dignitas, we're going to have to watch out for those hooks as they come in. The good news, too, for Dignitas is they have double silence. Wailing Arrow, Twilight, Dream.
The Librarian combo.
Exactly. Shh, be quiet. They can definitely go in for the combos, bring somebody in like Arthas or even Uther, silence them and go in for the engage. And here it is. There is one of the silences coming out. Wailing Arrow does connect. Cocoon, though, on Bakery will stop the fight here, and Dignitas is running.
It did slow things down for Dignitas, but they're ready to get back in. Hook catches, and there's a Ring of Frost, immediate follow-up too. Divine Shield kept Schwimpy alive, and now Zayla is in the back being brought down. Malfurion's down too. Team Fnatic are moving on.
Snitch is just locked down, and he is going to fall. 3 kills once again. Fnatic dominating in these team fights. Schwimpy in particular did wonderful there, dealing with the Leoric, hitting the Ring of Frost, burning down that front line, which allowed for the rest of Fnatic to move forward, get Wubby on top of Greymane, and now they take a keep, and they take a lead here, 14.5, moving up towards 15, and the beacons are available.
Thankfully for Team Dignitas, Leoric's already back on the field. The Leoric factor coming in handy for them because he does slow down the beacons momentarily, but these respawn timers are getting longer. And it's 16 kills to 1 for Fnatic.
You're right, the more kills that come in, it's much better for Fnatic, but also for Dignitas too. If they ever do get those hook combinations, they can really disrupt the flow of Fnatic. But overall, man, again, this is the burden of having a Sylvanas. I can't wait for Dignitas to actually get into a moment where they make the play, but it has to be a Hail Mary. And Zelia is even looking for that Hail Mary. Look at him on the opposing side here. They're wanting to invade their opponents. They know there are lots of risk for doing this, but if they can get a pickoff, that's a huge high reward.
Team Dignitas are still comboing their abilities really well. You don't really see the overlap between the silences, so they're communicating well. And it's Team Dignitas. They are so good at always making the comeback. You're not done. The game's not over until the core has fallen when you're versus Team Dignitas.
Fnatic knows something is fishy, though. They went for the boss. They set up Winter Bush. He just stood still. Sometimes it's one of the best plays they can do. Wubby is caught by the Entomb. The Drain Hope is burning him down, and he will be able to keep walking away from there. Great control. He didn't even use Army of the Dead. Just Mexi coming up with the heals was enough.
Yeah, that's one thing I noticed about Fnatic is they are very patient with their abilities, their heroic abilities, but so too are Dignitas. They know that they're down in this game. They've lost 1 keep, but they're trying to find the fight that they need to get back in this game, and they always have the possibility of doing so, especially with the roots after the hook. It's always there.
Oh, I love this right here. They aren't going in for a fight. Fnatic's just working on 16 with Quacknix in the top. They're using the global pressure to their advantage, watching out for hooks, playing safe, hugging their towers. Quacknix is working on a turret and a fort and minion waves while bottom lane continues to push. They are literally starving out Dignitas right now, and Dig can't find the opportunity.
Sylvanas questioning going back, but in this instance, 16's almost here, and the mercenary camp is cleared out. So they can keep everybody on the field of battle, but they just cannot find a pick. Team Fnatic have been making sure to keep a hold of the beacons, but now that they have 16, they make it aggressive.
Fnatic, the moment they hit 16, they make a play for both beacons. They grab the one on the top and the bottom, and they are climbing 70% and more, continuing to jump in. Cocoon has been used. Breeze on the right side here, looking to go in for the gauge. Can they kill off JPL?
Quacknix was looking to see if he needed to gust anybody away. Wubby was even zoning. No way for JPL to get back to his team.
Dig setting up for a potential flank if they go for the boss. Here they are. They see Snitch. He goes in. He's going to jump straight on Jaina. Instantly Smexy with the Divine Shield. Ring of Frost coming out. Snitch will be able to dodge it. But still, Dignitas in their last-ditch effort doesn't work out, and Fnatic can turn their attention towards the boss.
The beacons are slowly climbing, though, for Team Dignitas. They were able to snatch those away under the cover of... just cover, but at this point, Falstad still got one, so now they're working on trying to get the boss, but Jaina goes down. Have Fnatic bitten off more than they can can chew?
It's looking like it. Dignitas is fighting back, and they're turning it around. Stitch going in, and he's a hungry wolf. Nom, 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 as he gets members low, but they turn around. They jump on the boss, and they're able to grab it.
Team Dignitas, even with the keep down, have been taking so much from Fnatic, and yet they're able to fight back without 16 talents, stealing away the boss, recognizing that Fnatic were separated, and now hooks coming in, stagger deaths would be the worst thing for Fnatic at this point.
That it would be. They need to take a chill pill here. Chill out, clean up this bottom boss as they can, and set up from there. But they also know that they can't give away a Zerg wave that's massive. Remember, Sylvanas is still on the opposing team, and there's always that element of, oops, I win the video game. And they could totally do it here with the Zerg wave now being 100% for them. They can push in this bottom here. The top lane's defended pretty well with the fort, and I think Dignitas might just go all in on this idea.
Yeah, they have that boss to push the lane, and this is where the Zerg rush will be coming into in just a few seconds. Here it comes with some towers. Dignitas will get 16 as well, so they'll even feel comfortable fighting on that even talent tier.
Keep your eye on Mayne here. It's very important for this push. Wubby's wanting to come in for a flank. He has to wait for the Zerg wave to get over to the keep so he doesn't take the damage here. Here comes Wubby rotating in, trying to peel off Mayne or Snitch. At the same time, Breeze in the top left corner is dealing with whatever tank he can. It's 16 to 16. Dignitas is pushing forward.
They are. The Zergs move on to the core. Now Fnatic desperately trying to defend. You see the Blizzard come down, and that deals with a lot of it. Only the Guardians left, and one Ultralisk, which will get burned down in short order. Fnatic holds their core, but now Team Dignitas has evened out the keeps.
Bakery just ice blocked the cocoon there, is able to walk away now. Breeze is going to try and go for the engage, but suddenly Bakery is so far away that Team Dignitas is able to disengage. Boy, was that freaking pretty.
Oh, that cocoon connects though. Mene clears it out pretty fast, trying to gust away the rest and separate out Team Dignitas. We're going for the fight trick.
There it goes. Zaylee on the left side here. Wubby going in for it. He's going to be able to hold. We have Stitch on the top left to get some damage in, but the Army of the Dead has been popped. Dignitas will take this opportunity to pull away from the fight and waste that heroic.
Because Team Dignitas fully committed along with their Zerg Rush and the boss, and the Zerg Rush was still pretty good for Fnatic, Dignitas has lost both of their keeps, so things will start to get hectic for their base.
Yes, that is definitely the issue here. 2 keeps being down means catapult pressure is occurring. Fnatic's hoping to keep their opponents here in this area so they can build up a top wave, pushing in with those catapults. Hook connects with Breeze. He's able to burrow charge away. The root coming out slightly too late, but the Entomb, it connects.
It connects as Breeze has already gone back. Wailing Arrow and Divine Shield keeps Jaina safe. Bringer Frost goes down, but Dignitas avoids it. Hook and Jaina is deleted.
Is Dignitas going to do this? They go in. They get Quacknix too, and Fnatic plays a great early to mid game, but the late game, Dignitas is showing up. JPL with the hooks. The silence is working out too. Another member low here. Stitch being focused. Is he going to live? He does, and Wubby and Smexy are hoping to survive, but Smexy will fall.
Smexy is fall. There's only 2 members left of Fnatic to try to stop the onslaught of damage on their core, but Team Dignitas is burning it down, and how? It is already at 50% and continues to fall. Arthas is out. Sylvanas goes down. They did take out Sylvanas, but it won't be enough. Team Dignitas tie up the series 1-1.
That's right. It's going to be 1-1 here, and a couple of great plays towards the end there was wonderful. Dignitas happy. Look at Bakery smiling. He knew that they were in a situation where it was very dire, but they took the right moves in the end there to bring the game back. And man, you're right. We have a tie series on our hands.
I can't imagine the stress that the members of Team Dignitas were under, knowing that both of their keeps were down and that they took the risk to push with the boss and the Zerg Rush. The mental fortitude to stay there, turn around, fight. Even though they had lost both the keeps, they knew they were close, and getting the Entomb on Breeze after he had burrow charged, that was such a great start to the fight.
That it was, and Fnatic's got to be feeling that one, man. Suddenly you have thoughts of the Dignitas curse coming back into your minds. Really have to kind of just ground themselves and get ready for game number 3, which will be coming at you very soon. I actually just cannot wait to hear from our panel and their thoughts in that game, because I honestly thought Dignitas was done there. So let's hear from them.
I think a lot of people thought Dignitas was done there in game number 2. They managed to bring that from the clutches of defeat, Grubby.
Yeah, I mean, Dignitas lost the draft. They lost the early game, the mid game, the late game, the every game. And I can't help but feel that both Dignitas and Fnatic won a game they did not deserve to win.
Right.
Fnatic did not deserve game 1. 5% Immortal versus 100%. Dignitas did not deserve this one. And yet, they did. And therefore, they do deserve it. It goes against what you expect. But I mean, come on.
They were getting thrashed
Yeah,
throughout that game,
that
normally.
was 9 kills to 0 at one point in the game. But we were talking about it backstage. We felt Fnatic should have been further ahead than they actually were.
It was 17 kills to 1.
Yeah.
And then you are that many levels ahead. Dignitas steals the boss. It was actually really insane to come back like this.
This is the usual kind of thing that happens with Team Dignitas. You'll see them behind. They'll win one big team fight, and then they'll proceed to go over the other side of the map and win the game. That's a Dignitas special that happens a lot in their games, fan.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, like Grubby said, it was 17 kills to 1. Both these teams just showing they have what it takes to either throw the game or come back in very impressive fashion, I guess.
No, it's both. I mean, no credit away from the victor, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and we have the replay right here. So let's look at this situation. If we could pause right here. So a couple of things to point out. It is, once again, 17 kills to 1. Fnatic are so far ahead right now. They do not need this boss. They could have just secured the beacon. They're up a keep. They're up a talent tier. They're up 3 levels. Just get top beacon instead of the boss. Why put yourself in this situation in the first place? So I have to say this is a little bit overconfident by Fnatic. There was only one person dead. You don't need this boss to win. So moving on forward, Dig has a good game plan. They actually mis-executed this a bit. If we can pause one more time here. So you saw Snitch actually went in about a second and a half before Mene tossed out the Wailing Arrow. If Mene tossed out the Wailing Arrow first, before Snitch went in, he could have 100-0'd the Jaina because he would have caught both Jaina, Uther, and the same people that he caught here. So if the Wailing Arrow came from Fog first, Snitch could have gotten this kill. But since they didn't, they actually mis-executed. Snitch went before Mene's arrow, and the D-Shield got off before the arrow. So if we continue on here, surprisingly enough, none of Dig dies here, which is actually very, very good for them. And now we start the boss. And here it's important to look at cooldowns. Once again, this is a 4 versus 5 situation. If we can pause one more time right here. So now we have to look at cooldowns. What did you burn? Well, you burned the Divine Shield, you burned the ring in the prior engagement, and you did not get a kill. Your army is down, your cocoon is down. You're down to the single ultimate, only the Gust. Whereas on the other side, they still have Go for the Throat. They still have Twilight Dream. They still have Entomb. So now let's play this replay on here. We see Xaylia with a really good flank, finds the vulnerable target. They know you don't have D-Shield. There's nothing you can do to stop the kill on the Jaina here. And boss on Brax's holdout is more than 1 hero's worth of damage. So just well played by Dig there, capitalizing hugely off of a risk I feel like Fnatic just did not need to take to win this game.
Yeah, definitely in hindsight. But even while it was happening, we were wondering, what are they doing here? Is this the old Dignitas curse hanging over them? Very cool too how Dignitas went for Anubrak there, forcing out the Mighty Gust to remove all doubt that they can finish off the boss, which has not yet leashed back to the point. And that's the thing on Braxis. The amazing thing is Dignitas even took the beacon before they did disengage. You see all the elements like closing in on Fnatic, and Fnatic just zones in on it.
All right, well, we are going to go to a break, gentlemen. And when we are back, it will be game